People who visit Jackson Hole are profoundly impacted by its beauty. And in my practice, I have many clients who have moved here from somewhere else, and they all have a story about the first time they ever visited Jackson. And it's very uncommon for them to tell me that the reason they moved to Jackson was because of its advantageous tax laws. The most advantageous law for individuals is the fact that Wyoming doesn't impose an income tax. This is no secret to the most affluent of Americans because our government actually runs a budget surplus, and we have billions of dollars in a permanent reserve that are available for Wyoming and its constituents in the future. When we are helping clients move to Wyoming or become a Wyoming resident, it's interesting to note that there are no particular number of days that you need to be in Wyoming to become a Wyoming resident. The primary first step that we often tell our clients to take is to actually purchase residence within Wyoming, typically in Jackson. Not everyone can become a Wyoming resident, and for those that can't become a Wyoming resident doesn't mean that they can't actually take advantage of Wyoming's advantageous laws. For example, with respect to business entities, Wyoming was the first state to actually form what's called a limited liability company, or LLC, in 1977. And all additional 49 states have actually copied Wyoming with respect to the implementation of the LLC, and we've maintained our laws to be cutting edge to help our clients to the greatest extent possible with respect to privacy and asset protection using limited liability companies. Probably most important for those who can't actually move to Wyoming would be to use a Wyoming trust. Wyoming is an excellent jurisdiction for preserving wealth and transferring wealth to the next generation by establishing trusts. We have very modern trust laws which allow us to move assets that might otherwise be in a location that imposes an income tax. So we can move assets here to reduce income tax from other states. Our trust laws allow for complete privacy, complete asset protection, and they can last for 1,000 years. So just for an example with respect to an individual scenario, we often have people who are currently living in a jurisdiction that imposes a state income tax, which in the highest case can be in the double digits. What we do is actually help them take steps to establish residency in Wyoming and look to the laws of the state from which they're coming to ensure that they remove themselves from the ability of that prior jurisdiction to impose an income tax. And what that does moving forward is if they were in a jurisdiction that taxes their worldwide income and an additional percentage, just say 10%, that move to Wyoming actually reduces their overall tax burden in any given year by 10%. And in that scenario, it's important to note that the savings from moving from prior jurisdiction to Wyoming can actually be used to invest in Wyoming property, which basically is reducing tax and making more property available for investment and preserving and growing the wealth for the client. Our law firm has a wonderful relationship with Sotheby's here in Jackson Hole and with Realty Group of Jackson Hole. We often help them with their clients with respect to all aspects of their real estate acquisition needs.